so obviously I've been watching your Twitter, and you're like a workaholic and a perfectionist. So
Mm.
how do you manage to do all the things that you do within your music and still be a perfectionist and get things done properly?
I'm not a perfectionist person. Firstly, like I used to.
No? Okay.
Nah, I feel like I only decided I wasn't a perfectionist like a week ago though. So you might be right. I swear down, like literally, because I've been using Twitter more, and I've just been. I'm starting up. So I've got certain businesses that run. It's good to like pick people's brains and get certain information. So I've
Yeah.
asked certain questions, and some of the stuff I see like about artists being perfectionists and like making it too hard for themselves, man. Like so many artists are holding themselves back because they're making it too hard for themselves.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm not a perfectionist in it. There's certain times you've got to detach yourself from the work, like down to mixes and stuff. Yeah, it's like I've got to be in it, but then there's certain time I've got to detach myself because there's scenarios like I'll do a mix for someone and I know it's how the song should sound, or I'm confident in thinking this is the sound, and they might want like a tweak or something, yeah. And the tweak might make it worse, and I'll do the tweak, and it will make them happy and cool. But in
Yeah.
my heart of hearts, I feel like, bro, the other one was better. But I have to detach from it.
That
That's
must be very hard to kind of just shut
it's
yourself off.
Nah, you have to. I feel like you have to learn this in life, man. Like in the game, in
Okay.
everything, you have to learn to be able to detach from things, man. Like quickly as well. So
Mm.
that's not an issue. And the work thing, I feel like because I never put myself first. But then obviously this year was like the first year because I've kind of cut through. I don't know how long you followed my journey, but musically, I've kind of cut through mainly off behind the scenes business and network and stuff. Like I haven't tried. Like
Okay.
I feel like dropping a project a year or something, an EP yeah, is not. I don't think it's trying, in it. Like I understand the way the industry works now, but I don't think it's like trying. Like I decided I'm going to be an artist this year, and it's when I decided this. Someone pointed out to me the other day that I've dropped 3 tapes in like 6 months. So that's like
Yeah.
that's work, innit? I feel like until now, I haven't done the work. I put out more songs in the last 6 months than I put out in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So
So
you kind of powered up.
yeah, before it was a focus on being an engineer.
Yeah.
So it's always gonna be difficult to find a balance. Whereas now I'm an engineer and I'm still working. That's why this quarantine thing for me, it's like obviously it's rubbish, yeah, but it's like, yo, when I'm getting so much work done, it's a bit crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think creative people are having fun right now. I
To an
think this is
extent,
probably the best time.
but we need to live as well, innit? Like
Yeah.
we got nothing to speak about if we just obviously we can speak about the past, but in terms of the present, there's not much to speak about unless we're outliving.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get you.
It can be a bit hard, I think, to place you into a box because from some of the stuff that I've heard, you've got a few different styles. And for example, when you go from Crack the Code 1 up to
Mm-hmm.
Crack the Code 3, they're all a different type of vibe, I think, that you bring. So
Mm-hmm.
would you say you fit into a particular box, or are you just a rapper and you just rap about the life that you know?
If I'm honest, it's like just rapping, man. Just a
Mm,
rapper. Like sonically, I'm always gonna work with loads of different sounds, but
yeah,
project wise, there's like, for example, Crack the Code 3. It's a specific sound. It's raw. Like I went deep, like in the mixes of the music on Crack the Code 3, because even though this started as a trilogy of EPs, I wanted this one to have more of a mixtape feel. So like there's no limiters. You might not understand, but there's no limiters on my mixes. So technically, a lot of it is peaking, or they like it looks like it's peaking. It doesn't sound like it, but it gives it like a warm kind of analog, like a rough kind of feeling.
yeah,
Like as opposed to being so polished, like there's like a rough edge on this one.
yeah.
So
So you want that raw element essentially.
yeah, man. So I just spot like I keep a specific sound on a project, but in terms of making music, yeah, I'm so like you say influenced by different styles and different sounds and stuff. Yeah, that I just create, man. Like I'm not really gonna. Yeah, just a rapper, man. I'm just a rapper. I'm a guy who makes music, an artist, a rapper, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
What was the influences in the house musically? So your mum, what was your mum playing in the yard when you was coming
That's reggae, man. Reggae, lovers rock.
up? Yeah, Red Groove and them things.
Yeah, simple. Like it weren't too much. There's other things like jazz and what like on a one off and that like, but
Mm,
the everyday thing was the reggae and lovers rock. Like,
mm. I think that might be the same for most of us, you know.
yeah,
Most of us, our age group, if you ask them what their parents was playing, I think it would be like a Red Groove, Lovers Rock,
yeah,
reggae, little slices
yeah.
of R&B here and there.
Then after it's like more the hip hop and even like pop and I don't know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, from outside and where. But yeah, in the yard is yeah, that's it.
Man got given everything, bro. Like my mom was playing Red Groove, Lovers Rock, R&B. My dad was playing reggae, bashment. You
Mm,
get me? And then a little bit of hip hop. Then my older brothers was listening to hip hop and garage. You
mm.
get me? And then I come with the grind. You get me?
Yeah,
But
my brother used to listen to other stuff, but he never run the yard. You get me? So
okay, yeah, he couldn't hook up to the big speakers in the
yeah,
room.
you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? He couldn't go down there with eight, you get me? He's 45s and that. He could,
Yeah,
yeah, well, yeah.
The Crack the Code 3 was maybe a bit more raw compared to the other two. What was then the reasoning for the third Crack the Code? What was
from
kind
the
of the process behind?
from the beginning, it was always going to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
For an interview with Epic Jones, I'll DM it to you after. But from the beginning, it was always going to be a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But it just took longer and didn't like it done what it's supposed to planning wise. But it was kind of I was planning as I was going, but it was set that it was going to be a trilogy. There's on 1 and 2, it's definitely still raw. Like there's still definitely a lot of rawness. But I this one I just wanted to give more. And obviously because of my life here, like a lot of the stuff I'm speaking about is like there's a lot recently, the last few years, a lot that's happened in my life has been a lot more raw. Like I might have had a year or two when I didn't hear about Bear Man like getting flipping you get me madness and certain things that might not have been around so much. Like out here you have good years, man, or like decent years where it's like, yo, man, everyone's on road, like this is amazing. Then there's years where it's rough and it's like, yo, everyone's gone, man. Like it's mad. Some people are coming back, some people ain't. So it's like throughout the making of Crack the Code 3, it's just like it's been a rougher time, innit? Just a rougher time in life.
Is that maybe also kind of the reason then why there was a bit of so with the Crack the Code 1 and 2, they came out, I think it was 2018, but they came out quite in a short time between each other. So I think Crack the Code 1 was around April and Crack the Code 2 was December, but then you had the whole 2019.
Man, I didn't even know myself. Are you sure?
Yeah, that's what I was reading. Yeah, and then Crack the Code 3 obviously came out this year.
See, so I can't like even the last person I spoke to, they're telling me about some of my music. It's like I forget. I just make so much like. Mad Crack the Code 2 was 2018.
Yeah.
Right.
So then, and then there's that year, not lag or gap, or whatever, but there's that year where you didn't do now, say the third Crack the Code. So
yeah,
were you giving yourself time, or what was?
I didn't decide. Like I don't know. Like if I'm totally honest with you, life is life, innit? Maybe I was probably focusing on other things, man, outside and also engineering and just trying to find a balance. Balance in life, man. But,
I was gonna say that's also the other thing is you're not just an artist, you're also an engineer, a mixer. You have these other things that you're trying to put in place.
You're like really sure of yourself in like the way you speak and stuff. You're kind of like, I'm gonna get that, or I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna like really, really do it, kind of thing. Where did you learn that? Because obviously you grew up in the ends, and you don't learn that. Okay.
Yeah, man. Like both my parents they weren't born here, innit? So it's kind of like, yeah, get it, innit? Just get up and get it. Like from young, it's like my great granny told my mum, when you go to England, if you know how to read, there's a book to teach you everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing from time you can read and write, yeah. There's nothing you can't do in a country like this. Like,
Yeah.
especially with the internet now, there's like anything you want to learn, yeah. If you actually want to learn it, you can learn it.
Yeah, you're right. I think as well, when you're kind of getting fed that at home on a daily basis, it kind of gives you a different sort of hunger. Like,
yeah, no, 100%.
that makes sense.
You really respect your craft and you have a lot of ability and you believe in your own in your ability, basically. You know 100%. What I mean? I think that's quite strong, and it's quite key to make sure that you're not affected by all the noise that kind of comes around you, and you stay focused on what it is you want 100%. To do. It's something that you can grasp from Crack the Code 3. But looking at the cover arts of 1, 2, and 3, kind of feel like there's a bit of a transition between, from where you started to Crack the Code 1 and 3 in terms of the cover art. Could you kind of elaborate a bit on
if I'm totally honest with you, yeah?
Yeah.
This is another thing that was not planned. Like, I don't actually have, like this what I was saying to YSO yesterday, like, there's no one on my branding, marketing, stuff like that. This is just me being me. So right now, I'm not being rude, I'm on my phone to pre the covers. I remember Crack the Code 1, Crack the Code 2. Yeah, like, they have kind of somehow looked like they're supposed to look.
Yeah.
Like, they look like they all kind of fit. So that is probably Rav or Diri looking and doing it themselves. Like, I've given them the picture to work off.
Yeah.
But in terms of the edit, that's them doing it themselves. But the Crack the Code 3, that was like that was a shoot for Benja. That picture's from a photo shoot for Benja. And then I remember, like, when we were there, I think Diggy like, bro, E, you're comfy in the streets or something. Like, no one ain't comfy in the streets like E, like, like, and then, yeah, like, it just kind of, I feel like it can be interpreted in loads of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. So I've kind of just let people what do you think of it? I'm letting people interpret how they think. What do you think when you look at it?
So when I was looking at it, so start from Crack the Code 1, I felt like, this is kind of the start of your journey. You're on the phone, you're kind of doing, your thing about on the streets and all that. So that's kind of like you showing your beginning. Then I feel like Crack the Code 2, you're in the studio. It feels like, the music's now starting to pick up. Things are getting a bit more serious now. And it feels like by the time you get to the trilogy where you're there, sat with the Don and just chilling on the sofa, still in the streets, like still where you've come from. But it feels like, you've now reached a point where things are, getting even better now, but, you're now reflecting kind of on the journey that you've had between 2 and 1 kind of thing.
I'm buying that. Like, the maddest thing is, I feel like sometimes things get done without thinking about them. So I can't tell you what you've just said was my exact thought process through making the music. But the fact is, that is what you've just said is kind of what's happened.
Yeah.
Like, to an extent, like, that is kind of what's happened.
I think it's quite interesting that, that's just come about naturally and not even without even really putting much thought into kind of the way they were looking, which is quite good because you're still getting out your story and your feeling.
Yeah, I can't. What you just said, I can't claim it. I can't say to you, all right, I had the artwork planned out from before and all of this. Like, my team know the worst thing about me as an artist definitely gonna be like the photography side. I still have the introvert engineer side of me that wants to chill. Like, I don't. My at the end of the day, my cover is a Benjart shoot. It's for a clothing line. I haven't had a photo shoot in years.
Yeah, I got you.
With releasing music, is empty moments. There's moments where you drop a song and say everyone speaks about it for a period of time, and then it goes quiet and no one says anything. I wanna know what that's like for you. I wanna know. So you dropped Crack Code 3, and then everybody that follows you, everybody that's a fan, is listening and is messaging you, tweeting you, and your friends and family are texting you and stuff. But it's like, and then you're getting phone calls about it. But then there must be like a moment where like no one's saying anything for like an hour, 2 hours,
that hasn't come yet. But Truth's only been out for
that happened in the past.
But in the past, I feel like that gap, yeah, the more you release, the less that happens.
Okay.
So like right now, there's still a lot of people finding out my old music. So it's like,
yeah.
I'll have DMs of someone playing a tune they've just discovered now. So it's like the people, my core people, you, the man, like everyone's forgotten about that song now. So they're not. It's a quiet time, but even though it's supposed to be the quiet time, or it is the quiet time, someone else has just found it. So now they're kind of keeping it. Do you get what I'm saying? So like the more you release, yeah, it's kind of the less that will happen, because there's going to be a new influx of people catching on to other stuff. So then before you know it, there's not much silence. Like it's reduction, but it's not silence.
Okay, because then even if like you're dropping new stuff, so everyone like me, everyone like all the people that are here with you are listening to Crack the Code 3.
Yeah.
And then someone else is gonna pop up on Crack the Code 1 like, yo, this is hard.
Like recently, a lot of like when we dropped the Sheldon tape, there might have been noise, and then it's gone quiet. But recently, a lot of people are hitting me about that tape.
Okay.
Or even supplying the ones like both of them tapes. A lot of people are catching up on them now. Like rare, you get me? But it's that rare.
Supplying the one was a special one. Still, I'm not gonna lie.
Very special. Still,
that one lived in the car with me. Still, I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to you.
I think not only something that you can get from the first track, I think it's something that you get throughout the EP, and even from just watching the way you are online, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter, is kind of the support that you give to the scene and other artists. And there's a line in there, or a couple lines where you say, set all their own plans and their own targets. I done told the young boys the blueprint. They're going to be their own bosses if the shoe fits. Which I think, I quite like that bar. You know, it's. I mean, you're giving people the tools to do well, but it's up to the individuals themselves to kind of carry these on. But yeah, so you know, talk to me about kind of some of the artists that you're working with that are, you know, you're trying to bring through for the future.
Like for example, Shaq's on No Explanation. Like he's one of the young boys from my hood, crazy talented, and he'll tell you himself, it's like we can speak business. Like he knows what I do to an extent, yeah. But it's like, I told him already, anything you need to know that I can tell you or show you or whatever, not yet, I'll pattern. Like you're outside, you don't need my change or nothing. Like I don't want a percentage of your money.
Yeah.
Like you do your thing and I'll tell you, and then it's up to you. Because on top of that, the fact is I'm not always gonna be right. So I'll tell you what I think, and you can take it for yourself and do as you wish. I told him and some of the other young G's, that's kind of how it is. And then, there's a number of young boys from my hood, or younger boys. Some of them are grown men now. Like, it's like, I just show them the same thing. Like, ways to achieve what they want safely. And then there's other artists that I might work with on more of a client basis. Some artists I've done a lot of favors and stuff, but that's like purely their talent, and where I feel like when they're being themselves, their content might show you a certain thing. Like I know a lot of people are from deprived backgrounds and stuff like that, and I might tweak certain prices or waive certain things for them when they're like, their content is not a content of lies or of like mad bread. Like I can't, like, you get me, like someone who's come from some real humble beginnings, like I'm on some Robin Hood stuff, man. Like like them, I'll take care of them. So that's what I mean. And then like with Shaq and them, and them man are obviously the closest to my heart. They're from local and that. It's more like, whatever you need or I can show or tell you, if I can do it, I'll do it. And then, but it's on you. It's on you. People told me a lot of stuff I didn't listen to when it was on me to decide. and take action.
I think you also said that you like making music for the ends kind of thing, like for people like you.
100%.
Do you think that will ever change?
No, it's where I come from. Like it's as much as I go back home, like yards and all that, it's like this is the people I'm with every day. Like these are the minds and like the people who get the stories. They've been a part of them.
Yeah.
So
no, I definitely get it.
I'm always gonna make music to the ends.
I think that's what makes you sound different as well. Because like I think even if somebody didn't know you, I think they would instantly listen to your voice and be like, "Oh, this guy's a bit different." If that makes sense. I think your voice is like so different.
You also say, I don't know how you'll escape if you ain't got a plan. You know, I mean, not everyone can escape their life through music. But what is your advice kind of to youngers in terms of escaping that and setting themselves out a plan? Because it can be easy, say, for example, to set yourself a plan, but following that through to the end and, you know, staying in that direction can be quite difficult. So what's maybe your tips or advice that you typically give?
Work on your discipline and not everything's for everyone, man. Like boss life isn't for everyone. Everyone's not supposed to be a boss. A lot of people are just gonna work a standard job or work in Tesco's or whatever, and that, there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to work out what your discipline, what your hunger, what your talent, what all these things are. Like you need to plan. If you don't have the energy to plan, then you're living on chance, innit?
Yeah, 100%.
You're living on chance. So like I said, I'm still here myself, innit? So it's like I can only give my, as much as this advice is more opinion. Like this is my opinion. I can't even guarantee it's advice. I can tell you I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
But I ain't there yet, innit? But
yeah,
it's in that direction.
So when you went from making all them tunes, because in there was that era of everybody had tunes on phones, Bluetooth and around Sony Ericsson and whatnot. Yeah. So everyone had that phase, but then there was a next wave of people that released songs on platforms and legit and on iTunes. Before Apple Music, Spotify, all that, it was on iTunes. And I remember there was a certain man in the end that was doing that, and I was like, "How are you not doing this? Like, how are you getting your song on iTunes?" You get what I'm saying? So then, speak to like the first few times you did that and how it felt as a young. Because man would have been young, innit? Because man's not gonna play out man's age, but man would have been a early teens at least, or even late teens.
I'll be honest. The first time I done it late. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So like, even though I made music behind closed doors or dabbled with music, yeah, I haven't been a real artist, bro. So it's like Yo was my first thing that I put up for sale.
Swear down.
Yeah, I haven't had no music like that.
Oh shit!
Yo,
I did not know that.
Yo is my first official single.
You know what makes that even sicker for me? Because that was my introduction to you. That was how I found out. I said, "Oh, this guy." I said, "This guy raps." I was like, "Who's this guy? He's rapping." I said, "This guy with Zeeks, he's rapping. Who's that?" I was see when Yo came out, yeah. When it first came out, like the first release, because remember there were two releases.
Yeah, the sound.
I was phoning everyone like, "Yo, has man heard this EMAC guy?" And you know, like they're like, "Oh yeah, he's hard still." And I'm like, "Nah, but man heard him though. Like, you listening to what he's saying on the stream? Like, yeah, it's probably Yo and Zeke's is like Zeke's got the mad wheel up bar and it was cemented. That wheel up bar cemented, and then it's like, I'm thinking, man, please do not let that wheel up bar. Do not let that moment, because remember we was all coming to the shows with you though.
Yeah.
So I felt like everyone was letting that moment that go past, and man's not realizing this guy is rapping, bro. Like, I'm looking at that.
You see the thing about music though, this like there's elements to it. Like
we need all the elements.
We, as much as Zeke's is dope and extremely talented and everything, yeah. Like
highly talented.
He writ a wheel up bar in it, but man and Scribs made it a wheel up bar. Like you see the music around it, the bass line, everything changes. It builds.
I know.
Man changed the whole song, yeah. So it's like man said to Zeke, like said beforehand, like we used to make jokes in the studio. I'm never gonna get to perform my last verse. That was kind of our thing, like, oh, this is banter, bro. Man's not gonna perform my last verse, bro. Like it's like a setup, bro. Like it's set for the tension, for the momentum, to build.
To get to that moment.
Yes, then done.
Yeah.
I was literally going to ask you as well, how do you write about things that are so close to your heart? Like, especially things you're going through right then and then. Like, you haven't even had time to process it yet, but you're there writing. Like, oh, okay.
I don't. Like, I literally, have, this is why producers get annoyed with me a lot. The music just happens. Like a lot of the time I could play a beat, or I could be in the shower or anything, and a song comes to my head, and it's annoying because I don't really control it. Like sometimes I can go studio and get given a subject and write to it, or someone throws me a subject, but I'm trying to freestyle. But a lot of my songs, they're not planned. It's like it just happens.
I get you. So you must like go around like just like singing and stuff all the time, like just hearing little things in your head. I bet your neighbours love you.
My neighbours love me still.
A lyric from Get There, the next tune. Hustle through the rain till we get there. You know, you're obviously going through a lot of madness, but what for you is that light at the end of the tunnel? Where do you see this going?
It's gonna sound generic, but better health and more money and some more happiness, man. That's it. Like I feel like escaping mindsets and stuff like that. Like that's a deeper thing, but it's a great place to be. Like I've visited certain places, certain things I'm definitely not out of, but I've visited places and things where I'm out of them for a day or a week or whatever, and it's like it's a dope place to be.
And that kind of carries you forward,
man. Yeah.
Keeps you going.
Yeah. So that's what I'd say still.
And talk to me about the Park Hill feature as well on this track, because I've heard it.
It's cold.
Yeah, exactly.
The next bit, the business, the marketing, the branding, the promotion, all of that stuff is where it gets techie for me personally. You know what I mean? But for you, how do you deal with that? How does it come to you? How is it for you? Like,
it's kind of so someone else did ask me about this today as well. It's like there's no pressure like that, man. Because it's like with expectations and that, like I was saying, someone else is like, it's mine and my dog's expectations, brother. My content's always chill, so it's like once I like it, I feel like I know what a good song is, innit? I feel like I know what a good song is, so that's done. When it comes to like artwork, all of that type of stuff, it's like 9 times out of 10, I know what I want to see in it. So it's like you can get a bit impatient with like the third parties involved. You get me? It's like you feel like you put everything into something. Now someone else is slowing it down or whatever. But it's not no stress. I'm not really an anxious guy like that. Still, it's not really me.
Okay.
Kind of cool.
Nah, Carl.
You just gotta be yourself, bruv. The business is the business, and it's gonna be that way. You gotta decide what way you wanna go. If you wanna get number ones in that, decide and go with that. If you wanna just communicate with your people and stand for something, do that as well.
Yeah.
And then if that does take off and it gets you to a place where you might get them successes, just remember what got you there in the first place.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's it.
Is that also one of the reasons why you use the bar? I think it was iller with the raps, but they told me to dumb it down or something like that.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Because it's like certain times I might say something, and it's like, I don't know. Like I've had my own friends hit me up like months, years. Like I've got bars in that I know people don't understand what I'm saying. Like my own mom, like when my mom was in the car on the radio, she heard me talking about 2 bread and mackerel. She said, "What? Like this is some trill. Like this is like it sounds like it's a party song. This is real stuff." And that's like in our culture as well. Like Jamaican people, like you make the struggle sound different. Like the some of the stuff we might sing or whatever, rap about, whatever, DJ, all of that. Yeah, it's like it's coming from like it's real content. This is struggle. This is pain. This is deep things, yeah. But it sounds nice.
Yeah.
When I'm saying two brother macro before you get to the platter, like people are thinking, yo, like yeah, man, the beat, da 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 da. No, like this is some trill. There's 2 pieces of bread and a 1 tin. Like this is a real thing. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's on a party song at the same time, and that's on like arguably one of my biggest tunes.
Yeah.
So, being an independent artist, what comes with it? Like, how did basically the reason why I'm asking you, if you clock, I haven't asked you anything about no music yet. I've been asking you bare stuff that's like next to the music, so that when people watch this, there's other artists and young artists and stuff that can watch this that will be like, oh, okay, cool. So EMAC, maybe, you know what I mean? So, as far as independence goes, what does it mean to you? Yeah, and how do you feel you've achieved it or maintained it? How are you gonna maintain it? Yeah.
Independence is like, what it means is finding solutions and finding ways to do things by yourself, and also allocating the right roles to the right people, innit? Because you can't do everything by yourself, bro. So even though you're independent, 100%. The main thing that it kind of comes to is this whole ownership thing. Like, if I'm honest, like, when you're not owned by another label or something, that's what people are calling independent, innit? That's what the independent thing is, like you owning your product. But for me, a big thing is knowing to allocate the right roles to different people, and knowing what you are and ain't good at, knowing your strengths and weaknesses as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, there's a lot of independent artists that can't do artwork and stuff like that, or can't flip in, mix a song, or can't dress themselves. Like, there's bare different things in it. You might have to get someone else in. You're still independent. You've just got a team. Like, a lot of independent people have teams, and they'll try to push it like they're just overly independent, bro. It's not that you got a good team, bro.
Having a team is very, 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 very essential, especially when it comes 100%. To. That's why networking is so essential as well.
100%. Because there's a time
you'll find. Yeah, you'll find yourself.
The beat kind of uplifts a bit, and the mood kind of switches. You know, so what kind of the feeling around making that track?
It weren't planned. That weren't planned. Like, a lot of this, the tracks ain't planned, but I feel like in terms of like the seriousness and stuff, this is probably the most serious one, if I'm totally honest with you. But but the tempo like is different. But on that song, one thing about Pick a Side I do know, is if you're in if you've experienced certain things, or if you're from my area, it means it's different. Like, the phone calls and the messages and stuff I get about that song, it's different. Like, I know what that song has done for me, has reminded me what music's supposed to do. Like, I've got people who are like, the people it's touched is a different. I couldn't have imagined in it. Like, if I'm totally honest, like, the people from my place where I grew up, the people I grew up with, it's different. It's different.
That's amazing. I think that was quite a strong bar as well, where you know, it was kind of, it kind of makes you reflect and kind of, you know, think quite deeply. I think it was you ever looked in your dog's face and seen a stranger, the trust starts fading, but you don't feel no danger. I was just,
it's real.
No, I mean, that's real, raw. You know what I mean? So, how has that been when you've been, say, for example, living this life, and then, you know, you start to feel like you've seen a stranger, but you don't again see that danger? What's that feeling like? It's a bit.
I don't even know how to answer. Like, my brethren hit me up about this song the other day. Not even the other day, like the day after the project came out, and he was like, blood. Because the night which I'm speaking about, he was with me. He was with me, and he kind of like experienced it to an extent. Obviously, he's not me, but he experienced it to an extent. So it's like, in them scenarios, it's literally, it feels what I said. What I said is how it feels. Like you see your dog, that's your dog, yeah? But
Mm.
it's not, something's changed. Something that don't look strange here, but at the same time, you got that love, like, yeah, that's my dog though. Nothing ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yo, right now it's hot in the streets, you know. Like it's it feels how I said. That's all I can explain, if I'm honest. Paying's the only way you truly own it. It's like with this masters talk and all of that, a lot of people think they own stuff that they don't own. There's gonna
They
be
don't own. Yeah, a lot of man's. Yeah.
A lot of
A lot of man's files are
six
in the
owns
next
a lot
man's
of man's
computer.
masters. I own a lot of people's
Ah,
masters.
sick.
It's never gonna happen. Man's never gonna do nothing, but it's like,
Because man ain't that way inclined.
yeah, but that's the real innit. Like there's a lot of I don't want to say smoke and mirrors. I think certain things that we're uninformed or we're confused by what's fed to us, innit? But there's a lot like you with your cousin's video, technically, like as much as like you are a team in it, like there shouldn't be too much bread to speak about until there's a return in certain cases.
Exactly.
But factually, if there was no blood, all of that, yeah, he owns the video, on it. Man can say independent, rare, but the fact is he owns it.
Yeah.
Are there any of those raw moments then that you had where you just said what you needed to say on this EP? Ones that you just did one take and said, yeah, that's what I wanted to get out.
The funny thing is, the Pick a Side, I was showing Diggy yesterday. I've got a voice note from Pick a Side, not Pick a Side, Problems, about when I thought about it. Like I was speeding home. Because I fell asleep somewhere, and it was like I was getting home later than I should have been home. And I don't know if you've heard 1 and 2, but it was like I need to be home at a certain time, so I was speeding. And then like that's when that song came to my head, and I was raw, just singing it, like just driving, just repeating to myself. That's how it came to me.
I said, how does it feel to be still running with the same team that you kind of started with, and be elevating at the same time as them as well? Because all of you are kind of like making moves. That makes sense.
In music, like if I'm honest, this is the thing about life and my music. I don't, a lot of the same people, yeah. My life's a bit crazy, but musically, this is why music's good, isn't it? Because a lot of music people are just, I don't want to say not outside, but it's different. So all right, so like Shellington High Road, I don't know if you know about us, like Zeke, Stiggy and that. That's dope. That's amazing. Like these men are my brothers. I didn't start with them though.
Okay.
So to be clear on your question, I didn't start with them. Like that's probably about 4 years, maybe 5 years since our collective has been doing what we've been doing. Six Figure Music is amazing because it's like it has been like a music thing from the off. They've both been amazing in different ways, innit? So who I really started with, who's still around, Sonny Kale, that's amazing. Like Sonny Kale has been making my instrumentals for like over 10 years. He's been like in the shed with man, like before we could even get in studio, like, and now he's like working with Huss and Stormzy and all that. That's amazing. Seeing him like get plaques. I think he might be one of the first. He probably is the first guy from Hayes to have platinum plaques and things like that. Like that's amazing. TE from Playground, that's my guy as well. So that's amazing as well. Like really, those two from the beginning, if I'm honest. Yeah. And then like it went to a new level with Six, the White Souls, the Chris Andos, Bezzy, like that's a new level. And then Shellington High Road again, a new level. But the real beginning is Sunny and TE.
Nice. I think it's quite cool as well because people like me get to find other people within your team, like just being like one of your fans. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's the way you guys actually push and support each other. Like I think that's pretty dope because you don't really get that in London because everyone's trying to beef each other.
You've given people the power, yeah, without knowing what they stand for or what they represent, yeah, and now you're mad at them. I never give these people the power to begin with, so I don't really have that much feeling towards it, bro. I'll be honest with you, man. Like I get like if someone said something disrespectful to my people and that, like especially when they are one of man, then it's like, oh man, you got lost, man. I got a song with I say you got that self-hatred, can't escape it, hope you make it. On what song? That's what's Danny Screwface is on Buffalo and TE song. That's my yeah.
Banger.
I say you got that self-hatred, can't escape it, hope you make it. It's like them people, I hope they'll work it out in it.
No, I mean like personally that you know, like who pushes you the most? Like who believes in you the most other than yourself?
Diggy also believes in man heavy.
Yeah.
Diggy, he believes in man to the extent he gets annoyed. Like, have you heard the Problem song?
Yeah.
So like Problem, stuff like that, yeah, he'll be like, bro, like I've got reggae tunes and that Diggy's heard, yeah, that I made over a decade ago, like, and tunes with singing and stuff from like 15 years ago, and he's like, he's annoyed, like, brother, sing, like, you're cold. Like when he heard me make one or two instruments, like, bro, make it, you're gone. Like any rapping, whatever, like Diggy, I can't like Diggy believes in man heavy still. Gigi believes in man heavy as well. Like Gigi's like the only person without asking from the beginning. Really, he don't even make music, just hit man up like ready. Had his bread like I had my bread, like 50-50 everything.
Yeah.
And he's been with
that's
man
dope.
through bare studios, bare things like from the beginning.
That's dope.
Yeah, because you also have is it the energy drink?
Oh no, that's my people's drink.
I was going to say, because you have a few ventures that you also, kind of do apart from just music-wise.
I've got some ventures, but the drink's not one of them. That's my people, Gigi and Diggy. I'm going to send you a crate as well. I've got a crate for you.
Love.
Do you drink energy drinks, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a crate. Gigi just bought me a crate. But yeah, I've got some other ventures. Some of them that have been running for years, like that are in silence, that are going to get announced soon.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are just not going to get announced because it's not about EMAC, it's about Ethan. So you get me?
That right there lies you and your integrity and your,
of course, it's
and
never
your,
it's never gonna
your
be
independent.
Yeah,
because you don't need to take from a next man. Man's never taken from someone.
No, of course, but a lot of engineers may not even know some of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of people, a lot of artists that I speak to, especially young ones, they think being independent is just not signing a deal.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like
I've done a deal,
I have done a single deal, innit? Like I've done it. I've worked a song independently, and got it to where it needs to go, and then tried out a deal and done a single deal, innit? And I've had a lot of things in that contract, which if I really wanted to, I could have made it look independent.
Yeah.
Like that's the facts. And there's certain things in that thing where it's like, I've still got obviously my creative control, all of that's like standardly. Well, it's not standard, but standardly for us. Do you get me?
Yeah, because you go in there and you pattern up and you make sure you get what you need.
That's man's thing. But in terms of like, I think people need to know what independence means, innit? Like I love being independent, but business is business. I'm never gonna sell out to an extent. The right deal or whatever.
Mixing and mastering a lot of the tracks on his latest EP, because I saw the track list and I was like, wow. You go through and it's like produced or mixed and mastered by EMAC. So you had a heavily influence on that album. What's that like?
It's what we do. Like I don't know what to say, bro. Like it's kind of like, that's my bro, like I say, and it's a great artist. He's a great artist. So it's like that's what I do. So like there's a lot of projects because Diri done the packaging so well on that whole campaign. It's like people can actually look at it and see blood. E. Whereas other things it might be like a tape, then E, or whatever, then E, then so it might not say my name. Certain things I might not share. Certain things I might share once, but you don't see EMAC. Like when you see it so many times, it's like, Ray, he's done this many times. That's a lot of work. So again, with things like branding, you do marketing yourself. It's like that comes into it. It's kind of like drumming it into people, because like every song you're gonna see, or every other song you're gonna see my name.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like it's just a process. It's a process. It's not anything different from what I do or what I've been doing. It's like you're mixing and mastering the songs. It was dope because it's T. So he knows what I'm about. He might give more of a free reign, like do what you want here or do what you want. He can be picky, like as musicians are, we can be, but a lot of it is like, bro, here and it done.
Yeah.
Like, with my stuff, it's gonna be more like, okay, I prefer this take or change that take. It's not gonna be a thing like the mix is not clean or it's not loud enough or it's not whatever. It's more like, okay, can we put this vocal somewhere here or this somewhere like this or whatever. Not, it's not gonna be adjusting beat chops and all that. It's like he knows I've got it covered.
Remember nights in the trap when I was desperate. I couldn't do no deals, I needed extras. But to make it out these streets, they know I'm next up. No, I can't rest up. Gotta hustle through the rain till we get there. I cannot complain.